What are you going to do with your degree? This seems to be the really big question whenever you're graduating college. I know personally, I used to feel pressured by this question, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. I thought about it for a long time, years even, and I could never really pin down an answer. So I invited myself to rephrase the question, and I'd like you to do the same. Instead of asking, what are you going to do with your degree? Ask yourself, what is my degree going to do for me? When you consider the first question, all the value is placed on the degree. It's as if this magical degree that you've earned now means that people are going to be throwing money and job offers at you. That's not the case, as I'm sure many of you know. Instead, when you ask yourself, what is my degree going to do for me, you place the focus point on yourself. The degree does not have value, it simply adds benefit to you. So the real question to ask yourself then is, how much value do you have? According to Forbes magazine, 70% of recruiters find internships more valuable than a GPA, and more than half, about 60%, of hiring managers look for candidates who have had internships in the past. This may seem backwards to need experience before getting an entry-level job, but that's because you're not thinking about it from a business standpoint. If you don't have any experience, any industry knowledge, or practice, and all you have is a degree, then what value do you have for that business? Now, they have to devote resources, time, and training into getting you started, where you're actually starting to generate revenue for the company, and people don't just give you a job because you're qualified, they give it to you because you're bringing value. According to Investopedia, the cost of hiring an $8 per hour employee can total upwards of $3,500 for the business. You're an investment, essentially. It can take weeks, even months before you're actually productive in any new job, and it could take years before you're actually generating big returns to the company. When you think about it like this, it puts the focus on selling yourself. So to sell yourself, though, one must know how much value they have. So you might need to ask yourself, what makes you different? Well, we live in a hyper-competitive economy in which the ones who succeed in getting jobs are the ones who have competitive advantage. Michael Porter first put forth the concept of strategic advantage and identified 3 types of competitive advantage: focus, differentiation, or low cost. This concept can easily be applied to the competitive advantage in getting hired. An example of the focus would be someone like a doctor, lawyer, programmer, or engineer, something that requires specialized knowledge and usually a lot of bit of time and training and expertise. The majority of people do not go into these roles, though, and they go into more generalized jobs. This means you either have to be different or cheap. A study conducted by Pollfish and commissioned by the Clever Real Estate found, on average, undergraduates across all majors expected an annual salary of $57,000 in their first jobs after college. In fact, the average salary for college graduates is $47,000. So for the average first job applicant, they're selling themselves for 23% less than what they would expect to get for their job. When you go to apply for a job, do you want your only competitive advantage to be that you're cheap? If you're worried about paying off student loans, buying a house, starting a family, getting a new car, then you're going to need money. And if you need money and the job is what gets you money, then selling yourself as cheap labor is probably not the route to take. So what do you do then? If you want a good job, you want to make money, and you want to show your value, then you have to be different. Nobody can tell you how to do this. It's up to you. But figuring out what makes you different is the first step to finding your true value. There's a drastic difference between knowing of and knowing how, and most courses will teach you terms and concepts and introducing you to the subject matter. But just knowing something does not mean that you know how to do anything with this information. Fun fact, did you know that information has passed oil as the most valuable commodity in the world, according to The Economist? Take this and apply it to looking at a job. Take this and apply it to looking for a job. The information that you have and the knowledge of how to do things is your most valuable asset. How much are you taking advantage of this and the access of the world's information with the internet for free? Are you spending most of your time on social media, reading blog posts, and playing games? Or are you spending time researching new things and finding out new ways to do things? Because let me repeat that. Are you spending most of your time on social media, reading blog posts, and playing games because that's what everybody else who's selling themselves for cheap are doing? Or are you learning new information and new ways of how to do things? That's how you be different. That's how you definitely take the differentiation strategy. You have to be honest with yourself and ask if you are actually making yourself valuable. So when someone asks you, what are you going to do with your degree? You tell them whatever you want, because you're the one that makes the difference and brings value, not your college degree. Employers hire people, not resumes. Let all the other people stress out about not making any money and not being able to find a job. They were going to sell themselves 23% short anyways. But if you really want to make it big, you've got to find a way to be different. I hope this helps, and if anybody wants an internship, get in contact with me or a representative of my company. Thank you.